All right, so measures of central tendency. What are measures of central tendency? Well, there are three of them. They are the mean, median, and mode. All three of these statistics are describing the center of the data set. They are each calculated differently, and depending on the data set, one statistic may be more appropriate to use than another. So let's start with the mean. Here's some interesting concepts about the mean. The mean is the most sensitive of the measures of central tendency. It's also the balance point of the distribution. The mean is the one you're probably most familiar with, but we need to be careful when we report the mean as a statistic. So the mean is also called the average. An advantage of the mean is it's best for numerical data without outliers. So if you can think of an example, the Olympic 50-meter dash times, those would be very, very close together. There wouldn't be a lot of spread in that data, so the mean would be appropriate to report. How do we find the mean? We add all the data points together and we divide by the number of data points. Let's look at an example. Let's find the mean of the following data. The scores on a quiz out of 10 points were as follows: 2, 7, 8, 6, 5, and 9. To find the mean, we would sum the data and divide by 6 since there are 6 data values. So 2 plus 7 plus 8 plus 6 plus 5 plus 9, and then divide that sum by 6. You get an answer of 6 and 0.1, and then all your 6's will be repeating. If you're going to round this to the nearest tenth, it would be 6.2, and that would be a score of 6.2 points. This tells us the average quiz score was 6.2 points. If all the students shared all the points earned on the quiz, each student would earn 6.2 points. Let's look at an example. It's going to be called the housing conundrum. What if we use mean to look at home prices? Don't forget, how we find the mean is we add all the data points together and we divide by the number of data points. So here's the conundrum. You're wanting to buy a house in a neighborhood. The house you're looking at is listed at $235,000. Your realtor tells you that for homes in this neighborhood, the mean sales price of homes in the neighborhood is $250,000. What does this mean about the houses in your future neighborhood? How much do they cost? Can you tell from that information? Well, let's look at scenario 1. So scenario 1, here's some home values in the neighborhood: $117,000, $65,000, $200,000, $53,000, $65,000, and $1 million. So you can imagine maybe your house neighborhood looks like this. So if we're going to find the mean, we're going to sum all those values and we're going to divide by 6, and we get that answer of $250,000 that our realtor told us. The mean housing prices in this neighborhood was $250,000. Or it could look like scenario 2. The possible home values in scenario 2 would be $237,000, $215,000, $300,000, $233,000, $305,000, and $210,000. Let's find the mean of those. If you found the mean of those, you would still get $250,000 as your mean home price, but can you tell the housing is very different? What's causing this? Is the mean a good description of the center in both scenario 1 and scenario 2? Well, the mean seems to be okay to describe scenario 2, where the housing prices were closer together, but not a great description of scenario 1. And why is that? In scenario 1, that $1 million house is really pulling our mean up higher. Let's look at some other measures in another video.